Hello, everyone. I welcome you to the forum of the IVAM session, High Tech for Medical Devices at the Medical Fair Asia. Hope you had a nice day in Singapore or in any other country which will join today. I'm very glad that we have Aaron from the United States and a group from Japan and Iris from Austria, so a very international group today. We are living in difficult times, as you all know, and I hope everyone is okay and healthy. My name is Thomas Dietrich. I'm CEO of IVAM, Microtechnology Network. We are an association, a German association, looking for high-tech applications, high-tech devices with our member companies from Germany and all over the world. We try to help them making business, and we do that by organizing events and joining events like this one here, where we bring people together, explain their technologies and their ideas, and try to help them to find partners, development partners, but also suppliers or customers, just to bring everyone together to make business. This is not very easy in these times, as you all know. It's difficult to travel, it's difficult to be together on a table and build trust, but at least we can try to make the best out of it. And so I'm very thankful to Messe Düsseldorf Asia for organizing the Medical Fair Asia and organizing all the events here, the fair itself, but also discussions and sessions and forums like this one where we can exchange ideas. So thank you very much for all of you. It's very important that we meet and exchange ideas. So I'm also very glad that we have a long-term collaboration already between North Rhine-Westphalia and the state, one of the states of Germany, and the prefecture of Fukushima in Japan. And so I'm very glad that a group of Fukushima companies are also joining this seminar, so that we can exchange ideas also, again, only virtually, like we did in the last fairs in Japan and Germany, but at least it's something we can do here. For all the participants, you have, if you want to ask questions, there is a Q&A button, so please use this and send your questions to the talks, and I will forward it to the speakers, and we can answer them directly after the respective talk or in the end of the session, depending on the question. As far as I know, the meeting will be recorded and uploaded to the Medical Fair Asia website, so that you can even later see and listen to the speakers. Okay, with this, I would like to start the session, and first speaker is Aaron Johnson, Vice President of Marketing and Customer Strategy at Accumold, which is a high-tech manufacturer of precision micro, small and lead frame injection molded plastic components. So, and we will hear a lot more about what that means and what you offer. Please, Aaron.
Thank you, and welcome everyone. It's great to be here this afternoon or late this evening where I am, or morning if you're in Europe. It's just it's wonderful that we can come together like this and share. And as I'm getting my screen up here today, I really want to talk about the enabling benefits of micro injection molding. There's no secret that the world is getting smaller, and it seems somewhat cliche, but there's a lot of truth to that. And certainly within medical device and other microelectronics, miniaturization is a big topic. And so I want to talk a little bit today about some of the benefits that micro injection molding can bring to that equation with micro form factors. And really, to start off, it's about figuring out, well, really, what is that miniaturization challenge? What are we after when it comes to microelectronics or medical device and the miniaturization challenge? And it kind of reminded me of this kind of idea of trying to pack for a long vacation and trying to get more in there than physically as possible. And so much of the challenges that design engineers face these days are trying to do more in the same space or more in less, and trying to figure out how to add more functionality or just make the device smaller for minimally invasive surgery or diagnostics or endoscope challenges or what have you. But the smaller the better is often the mantra when it comes to a lot of the devices, especially that we see. So what really is micromolding? It is an injection molding process. We focus on thermoplastics. So if you're familiar with standard injection molding, it is a molded process, but we've come to find micromolding in a kind of one of three ways when it comes to the form factors, the thermoplastics that we see. And it's certainly micro in size. You're dealing with very, very small form factors. You'll see a couple of examples here, some that are even sub-millimeter in total size. So micro in size is certainly one way we would define micromolding. Another way we would define micromolding is micro in features. Sometimes the parts can be larger, maybe 4 or 5 centimeters. In our case, it's one of our larger parts where it has micro features, microfluidics, micro optics, thin wall sections, something that makes it a little bit more challenging than maybe a traditional injection molded part. So micro in size, micro in features. And really the third way we define micromolding is micro in tolerance. Oftentimes these critical components come with just even a few microns of tolerances in the geometry or profiles or what have you. So it adds definitely a layer of complexity to any product that you might be designing. So micro in size, micro in features, micro in tolerances. And in a lot of cases, it's all three of those things. So the common questions we get is well, how do what's the difference between micro injection molding and standard molding? How do I take advantage of that? And so in the general sense, it's very similar to injection molding. You still have to have a way to open and close the mold. You still have to have a way to eject the part, and you still need a gate. But when it comes to other features, really it starts to get into the situation, the geometry that you're after when it comes to aspect ratios or shrink rates. Or how this particular part that I'm showing on the screen here is only 800 microns long. So when you're thinking about gating, the gating had to become a feature and part of the process in order for the part to work the way the customer needed it. It's a little bandpass filter. There's a little glass filter that would go in that little notch, but you can see, it's fairly large on the screen, but it's only 800 microns at its longest feature. So when you're talking about parts this size, you really have to start looking at the realities of what the tool steel is going to look like, the material that you're going to process, and kind of how that all comes together. So it is, standard molding from a design standpoint, but when you start pushing the limits, that's where we really encourage a conversation. It's what we call the DFMM, the design for micromolding. Find your micromolding partner to have those conversations with. But the number one thing that we tell, potential customers and those that are working on new designs is always start with your ideal. Because, sometimes you might find that you've designed a part, you go to a resin supplier and say, can you make this part, or is this moldable? You go to your contract manufacturer, maybe you have an internal molding process, and, they tell you, no, it's too small, it's too complex. And so you change your design and, it doesn't really function the way you were hoping it would. We always encourage start with your ideal. Start that conversation with your micromolding supplier, so perhaps your design might actually be moldable, even though there might be some roadblocks along the way. So just keep that in mind as you're looking to push the limits with your own technology and where that might fit in. And so the best example I have here is this thin wall study that we did to kind of demonstrate how often there can be some roadblocks, but B, what you can accomplish, and C, really what the relationship is between the material and the feature performance at the micro scale. And so we designed this thick to thin part here with this 76 micron wall thickness, and we ran these 11 materials just to kind of show everyday materials that we would process. And you can see the wide variety of examples of how they turned out. 4 of them ran the full 42:1 aspect ratio. You know, many ran maybe halfway, and then you have PEI, Ultem, or Peak there that only ran 3:1. Now, that's not to say Peak is it only runs 3:1. It's just in this particular instance. But if you're trying to match up a material for its properties and a geometry and a form factor for the functionality of your device, the material selection is going to come into this conversation quite heavily. So it's very important in the early stages to understand where you're headed with this. But you know, you might go to a resin supplier and ask them, hey, do you have any materials that could make this part? Oftentimes they'll say, no, you know, you may have to mold it thicker and grind it down, or you know, some other strategies to you. But then sometimes, no, it's actually possible. So that's why we kind of continue to use the mantra, start with your ideal if you're looking to push the limits when it comes to micro sizes, micro features, and what have you. This is an example here where the part isn't necessarily micro in size. It's 1.5 inches here in this particular case. It's an internal chassis for a hearing aid device. But one of the other enabling ways to utilize microinjection molding is in part consolidation. When you're looking for, you know, more room on the inside, sometimes if you combine a couple of different parts together, you can, you know, reduce wall thickness and share those walls, and perhaps add more complexity or more electronics, more space on the inside. And so this is an example where multiple parts kind of came together. And if you're familiar with injection molding, you can see where there's multiple slides and core pulls, a very complex mold that comes together to make this part. Plus it has 2 battery connectors there, and then the insert connector on the far end. So it's got 3 metal inserts happening at the same time. So, you know, and it also has a lot of thick to thin, back to thin again, and thick transitions from a molding process. Very complex part, but in the end, it saved the customer a lot of manufacturing. It also gave them more functionality and more versatility for the part that they were looking for. So it doesn't just, you know, micromolding doesn't just have to be those sub-millimeter type parts. It can be some of these smaller parts, but have a lot of complexity and features to them as well. And here, as we kind of close the conversation here about micromolding, just wanted to share maybe a few examples just to kind of get a few other concepts about micromolding. On the left there are micro optics. And you know, when you're dealing with small parts with micro features and micro tolerances, micro optics takes that to a whole new level, because here you're dealing with material clarity. The tolerances of micro optics are often in the 2 or 3 millimeter range, and then of course our 2 or 3 micron range, excuse me. And oftentimes the surface finish there, of course, you need that optical quality. So there's a whole level of complexity with micro optics that come into play. That center part there in the middle is the one I showed earlier. It's only 800 microns long. And then the other way that you can also reduce form factors or create higher functionality is insert molding, over molding, lead frame molding, you know, the multi-component kind of approach. And that's an example there of a fabric mesh that's over molded to make a little wax mitigator, again, for kind of a hearing device, but where we articulated a fabric through a mold. It's about 2 millimeters in diameter, and come together to complete one part. So there's a variety of ways that you can approach miniaturization when it comes to form factors and thermoplastics and injection molding. And so if that's something of interest, I highly encourage you to you know, seek out your favorite micromolder, if you will, and start that conversation. And again, you know, we talked about the world getting smaller. The other kind of cliche that goes with this is this blue sky thinking. And really starting with that ideal, thinking about what's possible, bringing that approach and letting that conversation develop. And perhaps you might be surprised the thing that you're working on is achievable, and it might just be that next breakthrough for your medical device or your microelectronic device that you just happen to be working on. So that's just a very quick overview of what micro-injection molding is. I certainly encourage you to reach out if there's something that we could help you with. Just to give you a quick idea, we've been around since 1985, solely focused on micro-injection molding. And we are in Iowa, right in the middle of the United States. And don't worry if you don't know where Iowa is. Most Americans don't know either. But just south of Minneapolis, west of Chicago, right in the heart of the Midwest of the United States. Love to chat with you if there's something that we could share. So you can contact me. My contact details are here. If you happen to be in Europe, you can also contact my colleague Petra. She'd love to chat with you as well. And certainly if there's questions, you can put in the Q&A. You can email me afterwards. I'd love to chat with you. But certainly enjoy being with you guys today, and appreciate the invitation and you joining us today. So appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Aaron, for this interesting talk. It's always fantastic what is possible with this micro-injection molding. We still have a little time for some questions. As far as I can see in the Q&A, there is no question yet. I would like to encourage everyone in the audience, please send these questions, and Aaron will be here hopefully during the session.
Absolutely.
Even though it's very late in the US at the moment, and we'll even answer later questions.
Right.
I have a question, one more technology question. I'm always wondering if you do hybrid structures, some kind of overmolding of with other materials, and on the other hand, you have the shrinkage problem. How can you handle that? What is the strategy to do this?
Yeah, so we do a lot of overmolding, and certainly when you think about micro feature or micro, form factors, the shrinkage percentage is still there. And even if you're dealing with just a few millimeter size parts, there is a shrink factor that has to be built into the tooling process. And that is a kind of a science and an art form all in and of itself. And the way our tool makers build that and understanding, what that's going to look like. But that for overmolding and insert molding, especially around delicate media, we've overmolded around glass rods for a laser dental device. And so, anything that would shrink too much would crack those glass rods. And so there's definitely care when it comes to the tool building side. But I think because we have such a high precision approach to our tool building, the insert and overmolding piece just kind of comes along with that. And we kind of sometimes just have to dial it in micron at a time to make sure that and that also speaks to the variability sometimes of even the inserts we get. Metal has to be the same flatness, or the glass rod has to be the same diameter, because you are talking about as tight of a shutoff as you possibly can, and that does limit it and make those types of projects challenging.
Right.
Great question.
So the know-how is in your company, so you know how to do that. And if someone has a question.
Right. Yeah. Overmolding has been a big part of our experience for the last 35 years because there's a lot you can take advantage of, for sure.
Right. What exactly is your goal when you're going to Singapore? Are you looking for development partners, for customers, for suppliers?
Well, right. Traditionally, it's kind of all of the above. The nice thing about micro parts is they ship all over the world very nicely. Sometimes we tease and we say we just lick a stamp and send them on a postcard. But we have customers in Singapore. We have customers in Asia. We ship to really all over the world pretty much every day. And so it's just an opportunity to continue to really, oftentimes we hear engineers say, oh, I didn't know you could do that with plastic, and want to just continue to help engineers be creative in their design and their miniaturization challenges. So, wherever that may be, we'd like to be there.
Okay, super. So hopefully we can continue this discussion one day in Singapore, in Germany, or in Iowa.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you very much for your talk, Aaron.
Yes, thanks everyone. Great to see you all today.
Okay, so we come to the next talk. It will be given by Dr. Iris Prinz. She's head of sales and business development at the Stratec Group. Stratec has established itself as a worldwide innovative company in the field of lab automation and especially in the in vitro diagnostics and life science industry. And we will hear today a talk about injection molding of micro nanostructures for diagnostic applications. Please, Iris, it was yours.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Of course, everyone is at home, but it's really great to have this exchange. And I was so much looking forward to go to Singapore, my first time actually, but it has to wait, and I'm sure I will maybe do that next year. So that would be great. So I want first to introduce a little bit what is Stratec Group doing. So we are a group where our headquarters is based in Germany. They are doing analyzer systems for labs, so to do some in vitro diagnostic applications, also some of the life science applications. Of course, we also have a site which is doing the software for the instruments. And what I am from, we are from Austria, in Salzburg. We are from the consumable parts. And we are OEM manufacturers, so you also see here one of what we really always need is, of course, a partner, so a customer like you who has the market access and also has the reagents or the assays. So, of course, we are developing instrumentation. We are also manufacturing instrumentation and its consumables, but we need someone who is selling that on the market under his brand. And yeah, today I want to focus on the consumables. What we are doing here. So our origin is actually from Sony DADC. So you might know that Sony has a headquarter for CD and DVD manufacturing in Austria, so they still have. And in 2007, the CEO started up a group really looking into new applications. So what can be done with those injection molding machines? Because at that time already there was maybe some thoughts that the CD, DVD sales would go down at a certain point, and that there need to be some other application at some other markets. And we really looked into optics application, but also microfluidic applications. And in 2009, we really decided to go for the microfluidic market. And this is also why we got ISO certified 13485 in 2009. And since that time, we realized several applications for our customers. And we also have some sales offices in US and in Japan. And then finally, in 2016, Stratec Group acquired us in Austria, really to have a platform available for the customers. So not only selling instruments anymore, but also adding, of course, the valuable consumables which you need along usually for diagnostic applications. So here you can see what we can do. So our core technology is really our mastering. So we are very proud of it, that we can realize micro and nanostructures ourselves. So we can do that in photoresist. Afterwards, we do a nickel copy. And on the right-hand upper side, you see such an insert into a mold and the injection molded part, which is automatically handled. And also, of course, to generate some microfluidic structures, you need to have the technology to bond your parts, so really to close the channels and to connect them, what you see here down on the right-hand side. And of course, what is getting more and more important, you also need to do some content loading on the chip. So that could be some electrodes, that could be some chemistry, some biological materials you need to load onto your consumables so that you can really perform your assay. And of course, our main goal is to really go for industrialization. So we really want to have high volume products. And for that, it's really important that you can do some assembly in-house. So we have a lot of customized solutions. So in life science or also diagnostic applications, still the format is not really defined. So every customer has its own format. So you often need to really take care how to assemble all those steps and how to adapt your instruments for that. Also, of course, we have automation in-house. And really what is often important is the packaging, so that you can have a certain shelf life of your parts and that it's also easily handled by the consumer. And finally, of course, it's important to have quality and QC controls in-house. And yeah, last but not least, if you are in the in vitro diagnostic market, it's really important that you follow, of course, also the regulatory guidelines. I do not want to go into details. I just want to emphasize here that we are, of course, ready to produce in vitro diagnostic applications, but we also have life science. But anyhow, we really need to follow a stage gate process where you have the design freeze, where you have then the prototype, the pilot, and the mass manufacturing. Here you can see some of our customers, so maybe some of them you know. So in Asia, the Sony cell sorting tip is very or is well known. That's of course from our origin at Sony, that it was clear that we manufacture this part for Sony. Also, we have for the opco cassette, so it's used for PSA tests. Or also the digital PCR, we are very active in this one, where you need to generate some micro droplets with your microfluidic structures. And also maybe one, let's say, product we have since, I think, 2011. So it's the FlexiMass multi-target, where you can do mass spectrometry of bacteria on the multi-targets. And today I want to focus on two applications which we realized with our customers. And these are two ELISA tests, let's say with some special features to really enhance the sensitivity of existing ELISA technology. So you might know maybe better than me because I'm a physicist. Biologists, of course, know the ELISA test very well. So you have a virus on your sample surface. You send an antibody there, so it binds to your virus sample, and then it starts to flash if in connection with an enzyme. So sometimes it's a color change, or it could also be fluorescence in your plate, in your microtiter plate, and then you can detect if your biomarker is in the sample or not. So, but these ELISA tests, as you can here nicely see, you can maybe define or find certain proteins in a higher concentration, but what is really if you go below that. So you might know that if you have some illness, you have some biomarkers in your blood which could be used to detect, for example, Alzheimer's disease or maybe some other illnesses, and this needs to be detected below a certain threshold of concentration in your blood. So how can we detect this one? So there are two ways to do it. So either you use a digital ELISA assay or you use metal enhanced fluorescence. So that is a plasmonic based technology which enhances your signals. So first of all, I would like to focus on the digital ELISA. So this was realized in the past by Contrarix, and they're very active in the field and actually also supporting the COVID-19 pandemic. So if you're interested more what they do here, there are webinars on their webpage. So I really can recommend to go there. So it's really a great and joint effort also to support this pandemic here for the diagnostic. So how did they start? So they do the ELISA test on some microbeads, so they're really only micrometer sized, and they connect there the biomarkers, and if a biomarker is in the sample, it will start to give a fluorescent signal. So in order to read this signal out, they first started to etch in a fiber some holes, and those beads are settling down, and then you can really read them nicely from top because they are separated, so you can really see every single molecule flashing. So this is how they could increase their sensitivity for the assay. Then, of course, there was the question how to realize that in mass manufacturing. So they first started to do some prototyping in hot embossing and also in CUC on microscope slide format. So you see that they tried to change the well diameter, also the well depth. So that's the typical development we also usually need to do before we come to a product. And then finally, we transferred that to, actually in this case, to our disk mold platform we still had available from Sony. So here you see 24 flow cells, and the fields which are marked here are full with microvels. So around 200,000 microvels on one of such flow cell, and then the beads can settle down there and the instrument can simply do the readout. What is important for us to mention here is that we really like to do the upscaling also to several 100,000 or to million of parts, and for that we always need to upscale, or we need to reduce cycle times, for example, or also check the QC limits with our customers to improve the yield. So we are really working jointly with our customers to get more and more out of the product in the production line. And in this case, for example, we always had the laser welding of the flow cells written on the disc, and then we changed to a mask process, so you can imagine that it then works out much faster. So this is what we always try to do to really scale up the processes. And also nice to show here, our mother company in Germany already realized at that time the SIMOA instrument, so the single molecule analysis instrumentation, and we at Austria are doing those microstructured discs. But also there is the cuvette, so a stackable cuvette connected, so we can also do what we call classical consumables. And down here you see how those single molecules are starting to flash and how the readout can really be done to attomole or femtomole concentration of your biomarker concentration. And then just a short overview on the second application we realized. So as I've shown to you for the digital ELISA assay, you really need to have the instrument available, you need to have the disk available and the cuvette. But for the plasmonic readout, we really can use a standard fluorescence reader, which is also advantageous for smaller labs. So here we created a micro or nanostructured field on the bottom of the microtiter plate, and the molecules again bind to the surface, and then you excite it and you read out the emission, and then you can see when the sample is positive because it starts to fluorescence. And the plasmonic structure really helped to increase the signal. And what is also advantageous is that you only see the signal on the surface, so you do not need to do some washing step as you usually need to do with the ELISA tests. So what is the application in this case? So we are collaborating here with Vianostics, so it's a company in Vienna. So they are looking really into bone metabolism or neurological disorders, and they can really monitor from the start already when you get some issues, because you again have biomarkers in your blood and the concentration is getting higher and higher, and the earlier you can detect it, the earlier you can start with your diagnostics. And here you can see how we manufacture it. So we are again doing injection molding of the nanostructures. We are doing silver spatter coating on top of those nanostructures. In this case, we mill out the slides. Of course, you also could do a format mold where you directly do the injection molding of the slides, but still this project is in, let's say, validation. So this is how we first try to support our customer without having a lot of invest. So we are using the platform which are available, and now we can also connect those slides to the microtiter plates, as you can show here by laser welding on the bottom. And what again here, we changed the diameter of the wells. We also changed the thickness of the silver coating because this influences your response. And then finally, we found a configuration. So here you see some different fluorescence dyes. And we achieved a signal to noise ratio of, let's say, our multiplication of 150 to 300 times higher than usually. And also on the right-hand side, you can really see the comparison to a standard available high binding microtiter plate. And you can easily see that you can go to a concentration down to minus 10 to minus 13. So it's really, it has really a nicer onset than the standard binding NTPs with this plasmonic effect on the bottom. So here you can see once more how the product looks like, what we realized together with Diagnostics. And last but not least, I would like to mention, if you're interested more what we are doing at Stratec Consumables, please also check our webinars on the web. So we had already some in the past. We also have some upcoming webinars, and if you would like to receive invitation, just write an email to consumables.webinar@stratec.com, and we are happy to also have you there if you are interested what we are doing here. So thanks to all of you for listening, and if you have questions, please do not hesitate to write them in the chat window.
Thank you very much for this interesting talk. It's always interesting to see how that works and how the development of these products are working. As far as I see, no question in the Q&A, but I have one quick question, even though the time is already over. But especially the development of new products, especially at the moment for the pandemic. You mentioned it, that you were involved in some of these developments for diagnostics for this COVID-19 viruses. So how long does it take to go from the first idea to develop the microfluidic structure, your consumables or disposables, and then the machine? It has to fit to the machine. Probably the machine is already there, so it's more the chip. So how long does it take to get a functioning product?
So the feasibility usually takes between 3 and 6 months. So this really depends what needs to be tested, how you can realize the chip. So this could be some mastering tests, some material tests to really come to a first feasibility part, we call it. So yeah, as I said, 3 to 6 months. Then later on, if you really go and set up a machine, so like a bonding setup, or our own tool for molding. So this can take 1 year or even a little bit longer really to have everything in place. And then the validation again, so this depends on the market, also takes 3 to 6 months. So of course, they're passing by maybe 1 or 2 years until you are really on the market. So it always depends on the regulatory, also on the situation of the customer, which status the microfluidic idea has. So, but we really try to figure that out and define with our customer so that it also fits to his business plan and that we really can support for the market launch.
Okay, there is an additional question regarding this from Alexandria May Santos. Are there any clinical trials with these products or studies about it?
So we are not doing it ourselves. So our customer, of course, are doing clinical trials with our parts. So OPCO, for example, they are for the PSA tests are doing clinical trials, and of course also other companies and the large diagnostic players are working usually with us. So of course they are also doing that. Yes. Okay,
I have to stop here because we have to go to the next talk. So again, thank you very much. There is another question. Maybe you can answer that in the Q&A form. And
okay, I will try. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So the next talk, and I'm very, very glad that we have the people from Fukushima here, and especially Akira Kano-san, who is from the Fukushima prefectural government. And I explained already that we have a cooperation with the prefectural government, and so I'm happy that a lot of companies are here. So I'm looking very much forward to hear from you, Mr. Kano, the future from Fukushima Medical Industry Cluster Project and overseas corporations. So please, the floor is yours.
Okay, can you?
We can see the presentation, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Akira Kano from Fukushima Prefecture Government. I will introduce our exhibitors and the medical device industry in Fukushima Prefecture. First of all, I'd like to explain about potential of medical device industry in Fukushima Prefecture. In Fukushima Prefecture, there are more than 17 registered medical device manufacturers, including global market leaders in this sector, such as Johnson & Johnson or Olympus. In 2018, value of contract medical device production was 44.1 billion yen, which ranks first in Japan. We are one of the leading medical device production prefectures in Japan. In our prefecture, we have many manufacturing companies with highly sophisticated processing technology for which necessary to produce medical devices. Such companies have greatly contributed to the fact that we are now one of the leading figures in this sector. To support the medical device industry in Fukushima Prefecture, we have established the Fukushima Medical Device Development Support Center in 2016. The Fukushima Medical Device Development Support Center provides medical device safety evaluation, company business matching, consulting service, and human resource development. We are the first institution in Japan to comprehensively support development and commercialization of medical devices. In particular, we handle many biological safety evaluation tests using swines or pigs, and we can carry out tests necessary for pharmaceutical regulatory approval in Japan. In November 2019, we are certified by TÜV Rheinland Japan as a designated lab for EMC testing. We put this center at the core. We are working to enhance and integrate the medical device industry so that we will be recognized as in Japan and around the world, for people would say, when it comes to medical devices, Fukushima comes first. Since signing MOU with Thailand's Ministry of Industry in 2017 in the field of medical devices, Fukushima Prefecture has been actively supporting companies' expansion into the ASEAN market and has exhibited our booth at Medical Fair Asia since 2018. Companies in Fukushima Prefecture have taken advantage of their high technological capabilities and to produce high quality and original medical devices. With the support of many people, many devices have been introduced and installed in medical organizations in ASEAN and around the world. I would like to share one story with you. Do you know the asteroid explorer called Hayabusa 2? Just 3 days ago, its capsule containing space information made news with its return to Earth. Some parts of Japan's Hayabusa 2 reached the small asteroid Ryugu 2 years ago, were manufactured by companies in Fukushima Prefecture. Parts of artificial satellites that navigate in outer space are required to have the strength and high accuracy to operate without problems even in very harsh conditions. This is a proof that Fukushima companies have continued to take on challenges even in difficult environments and have won success in new fields. Supported by the activities of companies in the prefecture, Fukushima is steadily advancing its reconstruction process. 6 Fukushima companies are exhibit their presentations from the Fukushima companies after my presentation. Every company exhibits unique and innovative techniques and products. we are confident that companies in Fukushima Prefecture will bring new business opportunities to everyone by boldly taking on new challenges, including virtual exhibitions. We look forward to seeing you in our virtual booth. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kano, for this interesting presentation. I know that you have to leave for another appointment, but maybe someone has a question regarding this cooperation. Let me check. No, at the moment there's no question. I hope that we can see each other again in Singapore or in Fukushima sooner or later. We all know that the situation at the moment is difficult, but next year probably we can meet again. I'm very much interested always in this Fukushima Development Device and Research Center, which is very important for companies to go there and get all the registration for new products done and the testing for that. So for all who do not know this, this institute is open for everyone, not only for Japanese companies, right? So everyone can go there and gets also the help they need to get into the registration process for the Japanese market, right? So if there if there are no more questions, then I would hand over to the next talk. Next one, hello, is given by Sheshadari Udupa from Kanda Package. You are located also in Fukushima, or okay. You have to unmute your microphone, then we can hear you.
Sorry, in Singapore. Sorry for that.
Are you in Singapore? That's good. So you can enjoy the nice city, what we want to do in next year or the year after. So thank you very much for joining and explaining the products from Kanda Package. I'm always very, very much impressed when I have seen the factory of Kanda in Fukushima, and was very impressed what you can do out of paper. So I'm looking very much forward to hear your presentation about the products and the new developments. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Just wanted to check whether are you able to see my screen?
Yes, everything is perfect.
Okay, perfect. Thanks again. So we are from Asia Deal Hub. We are one of the exclusive distributor of Kanda Package. For next 10 minutes, I will quickly walk you through with some of the products we offer, and also I will touch upon our platform in Asia Deal Hub. So as mentioned in the subject, the Kanda Package company was founded in 1897 in Japan. We are a cardboard manufacturing company. So we have two distinct divisions, business units within the organizations. The first one is packaging division. The second is around the honey rail divisions. It's basically focusing on the cardboard. The technology and the technique which we use to produce, manufacture, this is around the concept of honeycomb that ensures not only is lightweight but also durable, just like the product which you come across in the aviation industry. So from the broader product coverage point of view, basically the vision, the idea came back in years ago when there was an earthquake in the Japan, and this particular product is extensively used because it's easy to assemble, it's very lightweight, and easy to move around. So I think that's a real idea behind the vision behind this particular idea. And again, it's a very, as I mentioned earlier, it's easy to set up, easy to move. No tools required to assemble this particular product. It's basically 2-3 people together can set up the entire room within 15 minutes, and it also is possible to sterilize instantly. So on a technology side, as I highlighted in the screen, it's a really honeycomb concept. Really working with the different paper products to ensure it's a lightweight as well as durable. We also have other product, the Shike film is antivirus paint. Since we are in the situation, this particular product is really getting a lot of traction. The concept really behind the traditional Japanese formulation of Shikui plaster, the main active compound is the CaOH2. This is usually scattered when the infection develops as a prick method. The real benefit of this particular paint is antiviral, bacterial effect, disorders, control fluidity, decomposition of the harmful materials. If you look at, compare the traditional paint, emulsion paint, when with the Shikoi, so you can really see it really has an effective, efficient way to handle the situation like this what we have today. So this product is tested, and we are getting good traction on this use case. From a track record and adoption point of view, a number of customers around the regions in the Japan using it for the multiple solution. From a cardboard point of view, most recently we've been engaging in many construction sites as an emergency room setup. For example, last earthquake happened in Kumamoto with the earthquake, and so there was an emergency room built around this particular cardboard. Hence, we are also getting a lot of traction in these regions. We have been working closely with the Tokyo Olympics on setting up the medical support to mass site, as well as working with some other countries in the regions to really set up the medical support for patients. The high expectation for users infectious disease units and disposable treatment spaces, taking advantage of the characteristics that these rooms are made of paper and easy to deposit off. We started providing these products for use at Fukushima Medical University. So we are also getting traction outside the Japan as well. Going forward, we are really working together, putting together a technological difference to develop quality products like this to help the world. We will continue to offer outstanding product and hope we can count on our support. So Asia, as I mentioned earlier, so we are exclusive distributor of this product in ASEAN. We are not a traditional distributor, we are a technology platform. We help the innovative manufacturer to get the right distributor, right customer across this particular region. We use the technology as an enabler to reach your customer, your distributor. Idea to make the cross-border deals as a business expansion tools for everybody through digital management platform with a professional ecosystem. We will connect Asia and across the globe continue to the economic growth in this part of the world. The hub platform, we have a distinct 4 different hubs within the platform. We have marketing hub, we have media hub, partner sourcing hub, as well as fundraising hub. Marketing hub is really the hub where we support the matching between the suppliers and the distributors. It uses advanced AI and machine learning matching process to really connect the demand and supply. The manufacturer can easily identify the potential distributors and buyers across ASEAN as well as India, and the distributors can find unique, innovative product within the platform. It creates a matchmaking platform. How it works is we identify the unique and innovative products in Japan, for example, because currently we're working exclusively with Japan. we identify those unique products. Kanda is one of the products we identify with a digital sourcing platform. Then we identify the respective distributors who are actually looking at these niche product, niche space, and the resellers in ASEAN for digital matching platform. We support the sales implementation, not that just we match these two people, but also help and enable them in terms of on the sales and the training and inspection, etc. So that's it from the platform point of view. If you want to know more about the Kanda product, the Kanda board, as well as the platform, how the platform works, please log into asiadealhub.com or reach out to info@asiadeal.com, and we are happy to support you. Thank you. Any question for me?
Okay, thank you very much. It was a little difficult. We had some voice problems, so I'm not sure if everyone could follow your presentation, but at least we could read your slides, so everything is good. There is no question at the moment in the chat, but I would like to ask one thing. At the moment, especially now in the pandemic, we are all looking for, at the moment, for example, in Germany, probably all over the world, there are some new vaccination centers built up very fast and very quickly, and this could be a good business for you, right? So
Yes.
Are you involved in this already?
Yeah, there are some discussions happening with some of the universities, some of the government officials. That's what I was highlighting. As an emergency room, the infectious people who are treating these people can actually use this. Could be a place for them to prepare their treatment. So we are getting some traction, early discussions, but as you rightly highlighted, this is our one of the promising business segment which we see from the next few years.
So I wish you good luck there.
Hopefully, we'll be able to help the people who are needy.
Yeah, I know that you have in Germany already a good partner to help you there, and so for you, you are responsible for Singapore and South
ASEAN.
Asia, right?
Yeah.
ASEAN. Okay, so again, thank you very much. I would like to encourage everyone to ask questions, especially because the tone was not so good. So if you have questions, then there is a question. Yeah, again from Alexandria, she asked, are you using antivirus paint on your Honeywell board?
That one maybe I had to come back, but again, these products are so generally used in the infectious the places. So hopefully, I think as I highlighted in the slide, it is the antibacterial, antiviral. I don't know exactly whether they use that particular paint, but a cardboard is being used in the medical facilities. So I think those critical points are being addressed as a part of the solution. Okay.
So again, thank you very much for joining, and wish you a nice day in Singapore at the fair.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us, and please visit our website asiadealhub.com. And if in case you want to reach out to any distributors and customer in this part of the world, we are able to help through a digital platform.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So before we come to the next slide, maybe one question to the organizers. There is always a video with it says Mr. Kudo, but probably this is not Mr. Kudo, and I'm not sure how he gets into this room. So the organizers, maybe you can check with him what happened here. Anyway, we come to the next talk, which will be given by Yusuke Nakano from Shirawaka in Japan, and he will talk a little little bit about his company and the products and explain what they are doing. Please, Mr. Nakano, the floor is yours.
Yes, can you hear my voice?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Thank you. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Yusuke Nakano, and I'm medical sales staff for Shirakawa. There are two things I would like to cover today. Firstly, I will talk about our company. Then I will explain our product. I would like to start introduce about our company. We are manufacturing and selling medical sutures and handling various types of sewing thread. Our manufacturing base is located in Nihonmatsu City, Fukushima Prefecture. We were able to participate with the cooperation of Fukushima Prefecture. Thank you. Next, I would like to talk about our product. Soft nylon. Non-absorbable nylon sutures. Our thread is softer and stretchy, better than conventional nylon thread. It ties without issues and with small knots, reducing the strain on patients. Comes inside USB number 62021 in black, green, blue, white, and other colors. Polyester tape. Put together the tissue surrounding the surgical site, expand the field of view, and simplify the operation. Can be used for temporary occluding ligature of arteries, veins, or the ureter. Comes in width of 2 mm to 10 mm, and white, yellow, red, green, blue, and other colors.
Excuse me, Mr. Nakano, there's someone, Cyberdyne has switched in with its presentation. You have to start your, share your screen again. Yes, thank you.
Sterilized nylon suture with needle. A nylon suture with needle that combines the soft, stretchable soft nylon and the sharp, firm, smooth needle. A roll base with good visibility that prevents unusual winding and makes it easy to draw out. The thread is used for packaging. This is all for my presentation. If you have some questions, please come to our page and send in message. Thank you for taking the time to join today's presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Nakano, for all this information about your products. So we will. There is no question at the moment in the Q&A. So as you said, I will forward, or we should forward everyone who has questions to your products to your website and start discussing with you directly. With this, I would like to recommend again using this question and answer part possibility. You can ask everyone. not only the one who is talking at the moment. If you have any questions to the previous talks, please feel free, or to us or to the organizers, please feel free to ask some questions and we will try to answer them after the talks. Okay, with this we come to the next talk, which is given by Akihisa Matsuno from ESC in Fukushima, Yabuki. So thank you very much for joining and explaining your rare metal tubings, and especially, of course, the special metals you have for medical applications. So the title of the talk is Precision Metal Tubing Specialist, ESQ. So please, Mr. Matsuno.
Hi, thank you very much for your introduction, Dr. Dietrich, and giving us this opportunity for our presentation. So my name is Akihisa Matsuno, sales rep of Precision Metal Tubing Specialist, ESQ Limited. We are called ESQ in Japanese also. So first of all, brief introduction of a company. We are located in a small town called Yabuki in Fukushima, and has a history of about 20 years in business. And we maintain a fairly compact production facility of about 4,000 square meters with employees of 35 people as of today. And what we make is very simple. Pipes, tubes, windows of various sizes and shapes. Basically any metal parts with a hole, and especially small ones. And they are made from various raw materials such as stainless steel, nickel, cobalt alloys, rare and precious metals such as tantalum, niobium, titanium, and others. And so this is how we make our tube. As shown in this movie with repeated drawings and heat treatment processes, we make the straight tube first. And our tubes can be delivered in this straight tube format. But depending on the customer's request, we can also do secondary processing, such as cutting, grinding, bending, and so forth, to make it in various sizes and shapes to fit customers' needs. Oops. So the fields of products where our tubes can be applied. Parts of for automotive and electronic devices used to take up a large portion of our sales. But now uses for medical devices are rising over the half of our production. Among those devices, endoscopic parts, tubes for stents, and microtubes for catheters are some of the applications our tubes are being used. Now I'd like to introduce a couple of tubing products that are unique to our company. First one is this ultra-thin elongated nickel titanium alloy tube. It has outer diameter of 0.2 millimeters and inner diameter of 0.1 and length over 2 meters. So it actually looks like a very thin wire or thread. So here's the movie of the product. So in this movie, you see the water coming out of its tip. This can be used as a microtube or catheter to deliver certain fluid agent to a deep part of your body, maybe through tiny blood vessels. And here's another example of our unique product. Thin wall tantalum tube used for margarine. These margarines have been generally made of platinum, but because it is quite expensive, the production is shifting to use more cost-effective tantalum. While tantalum is known to be hard to process material, we have managed to make it as small as the minimum wall thickness of 0.02 millimeters, which is actually smaller than the crystal grain size of the tantalum itself. So this is another example of a product which may be only made by a company, and we can be also proud of. And just a few other examples of general product. Thick wall tubes are hard to produce the thin ones through drawing method, but we can manage to do it as well. And we can also make a tube with a tapered end like this through cutting and grinding, secondary processing. And our product dimension. The blue part shows our production range. Generally, we can work on the wall thickness as small as 15 microns and up, and with the outer diameter of various sizes. This also depends on the material, so please feel free to ask us for your desired size and material even if it's out of this range. We can always try to expand our production range also. And just to wrap up this presentation, I would like to go through our strengths just quickly. We are good at production of metal tubing parts using various metals, including rare and precious metals such as tantalum, niobium, molybdenum, titanium, and others. Also production of metal tubes with irregular OD and ID in a diameter ratio, thin to thick, and tubes requiring secondary processing such as cutting and bending. We can also do trial production of R&D stage custom-made product parts using new materials or new alloys, and upscale production of those parts for final products can be done as well. And basically any production of precision metal tubes, which other metal tubing companies cannot or could not deal with, then we can try that as well. So our motto is creative challenge. Please ask us if you have any problems with metal tubing. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Matsuno-san. It was, as always, very impressive. I have been to your factory some time ago, and it was really impressive to see how you work and how this material is done, how you do these tubings, and especially this very, very fine tubings. Mm-hmm. So if anyone in the audience is one day in Yabuki, please go there and see. It's really good good production and good products. And you are expanding over the last year very, very fast, right?
Yes, we are expanding our facilities and probably building up new building, hopefully. Not yet, though.
So I asked someone of the previous speakers also, what is your idea of going to Singapore? Do you have already business relations in Singapore, or what are you planning here?
We do not have any direct business with Singapore customers, but as we attended the past exhibitions, we still have some contacts from Singaporean manufacturers, and probably many Chinese manufacturers attending the exhibition. So yeah. We hope to get some orders from those companies someday.
Yeah. I wish you luck with this. I think, personally, I think Singapore is a very, very interesting hub, not only for the ASEAN countries, but also for countries like India or China, who are always present in these fairs. And so it's a good start for business in Southeast Asia, of course, but for the Europeans also, when you want to go to more north like China, mm-hmm. it's a good start for this. So again, thank you very much for your presentation, and probably you will be around at the fair. So if someone wants to contact you, it's still possible, or go to your website.
Oh yes, please access our account through the system, and we can be available for any meeting during the next few days for the during the exhibition.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the nice presentation and that you are here. And we will direct everyone who asks for tubes to you.
Okay, nice. That's very nice of you. Thank you.
Okay, so we come to the next talk from Inoffice. It will be given by Shun Sasaki-san. So we will hear, I was very impressed from the last presentation of your muscle suit. So I'm very much looking forward to what you present today about your company and your products, and the floor is yours, please.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Dr. Thomas. Okay, thank you for the introduction, and hello everyone. At first, please let me introduce ourselves. We are Inoffice, and I am Shun Sasaki. Thank you so much for giving this honoring opportunity. So please let me share my screen. So can everyone see my PowerPoint slide now?
Yes, very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, today we will introduce 3 points in this presentation. First, what about our company? And second, Dr. Thomas kindly introduced earlier our main product for medical worker, muscle suits. And third, our upcoming product for rehabilitation. It's called functional training model. The first, we will show you our company overview. Let me go to the next slide. Our name is Inoffice, based in Tokyo, and our technology laboratory is based in Fukushima. It is founded in 2013, and its founder is Mr. Hiroshi Kobayashi. He is a professor of Tokyo University of Science. We are usually categorized as a robotics company for health tech area, but our philosophy is a little bit unique. It is, we do not need to create fantastic robots, but we do create robots for actual people's lives. We think this policy is our unique point, but on the same time, our stronger point than usual robotics company. Let me go to the next slide. From the next slide, we will introduce our main product for medical workers. Its name is muscle suits. This is a photo of muscle suits. After users carry the suit like a backpack and adjust it, the suit will give them a maximum 25.5 kilogram force power, which might reduce the risk of the worker's back pain. And this product was originally made for a caregiving industry to enable its workers easily lift up the person who needs support or who has paralysis and so on. In Japan, this product has gotten a huge awareness, we think, already. So it has been sold over 30,000 units so far. And we think it is a bestseller exoskeleton suit in the world. And now we are planning to expand its distribution for all over the world. We are ready to sell the product in Japan, Taiwan, Korea, Hong Kong, and China so far, but still looking for distribution partners all over the world. Let me go to the next slide. In this slide, we would like to show a video for how to wear the muscle suits.
マッスルスーツエブリーの装着方法を説明します。まず、マッスルスーツを背負います。ベルトを 引き上げ、腰ベルトが腰の位置になるよう調整します。次に腰ベルトをつけ、ベルトをしっかりと締めます。お尻ベルトも引き上げます。ももパッドを前に回し、ももに当たるようにします。ポンプを取り出し、空気を入れます。30から45回程度入れましょう。なお、空気を抜くときは排気弁から抜きます。後ろの隙間を調整します。間に拳が1つ入る程度余裕を持ちましょう。胸のベルトを締めて、これで装着完了です。
Thank you for watching. This is how to wear our mask suits. And next slide, we would like to show the strong points of mask suits. Please let me pick up 3 points today. First, it doesn't need electricity. Actuated only by a manually pumped air, like us doing with bicycle. So wearer does not need to care about a battery limitation. Second, it is a very lightweight product. It only has 3.8 kilograms. It is designed as everyone can use it. Nowadays in Japan, elderly care needs to be given by elderly workers too. Even for such kind of case, a mask suit is very easy to use. Finally, because of no electricity, our product has waterproof and dustproof. Our product, so you can wear mask suits whenever and wherever you like, even for our bathing support situation and so on. In next video, we will show how the mask suit can be used for actual thing of caregiving. For this kind of lifting up and keeping mid-waist position work, for such kind of work, our product is very useful and can take many good feedbacks from the users. Thank you for watching. Like this. Additionally, mask suit is now featured by a Japanese government. And this magazine is officially published by a government office of Japan. The article said the mask suit is going to be the key solutions for the aged society, which is upcoming for all over the world, like these photos. From the next slide, we will show our upcoming rehabilitation device. Let me go to the next slide. We are developing a device for rehabilitation called functional training models, so that people with physical disabilities can do walking practice for rehabilitation. A patient put on the functional training models or like a backpack and start practicing while holding on a frame. And there are 2 types, side lifts and squats. Repeated training with side lifts and squats may help reduce hip joint contractures. And to encourage flexion and extension, thereby potentially assisting walking practice. This device will be categorized for Class 2 medical device in Japan. Let me go to the next slide. This is a photo of our functional training model. The blue one is side lifts model, and the red one is squats model. And you will see squat model on the left-hand side of the slide, and the side lifts model on the right-hand side. As for squat model, if the patient squats, then the device will actively help patient stretch his or her hip joint. As for side lift model, right side, the device will actively help patients alternately lift his or her side. And please watch this video. It is how our functional training models can be used, actually.
機能訓練モデル。こちらも肢体不自由の患者さんがリハビリのための歩行訓練を行うことを想定し開発を進めています。患者さんは機能訓練モデルをリュックのように背中に装着し手すりにつかまった状態で訓練を行います。もも上げとスクワットの2つのタイプがあります。もも上げとスクワットの運動を繰り返し行うことは股関節の拘縮を軽減し屈曲、伸展を促すため歩行訓練の一助になる可能性があると考えられています。
我々イノフィスのミッションとしましては生きている限り自立した生活を実現すると。
Thank you for watching again. And finally, this is our development plan for this function training models. We are still in the development phase and plan submission in 2022. So please check our update. That's all from us. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any interest or questions about us, please contact our account on MFA interface now, or send an email to this address. We're looking forward to your contact during this exhibition. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Shun-san. I'm very glad to have that seen. Especially the videos are very, very interesting. It shows really how that works. I have one question regarding the use of the patients for rehabilitation. Is that something the patients can do alone at home, or do they need a doctor always aside it or a therapist?
With that plan, device, its training needs a doctor or physical trainer.
I see. And you said that this is a medical device class 2. So do you have already approval as a medical equipment?
In Japan, correct.
In Japan, okay.
Actually, now submitting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you still need it for Europe, for example?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So let's hope that that you can make this. It's a very interesting and very helpful tool, I think.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining and giving this talk. And as you said, you have a booth at the MFA. So for everyone, please contact the company Innofys and ask your questions, or let him show your the product. Okay, thank you very much again. And we come to the next talk, which will be given by Kento Amano from Asahi Rubber in Saitama, Fukushima. And also here, we have already a long time contact through the medical creation, which I visited several times. And so I'm again very interested to see if there are any new developments. But anyway, I would like to give you the floor for describing your products at Asahi Rubber with your cutting edge technologies. Thank you very much. Please.
Dr. Thomas, thank you for your introduction. Can you hear voice?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you. Can you see my documents?
Yes, your presentation is on.
Thank you. Medical Fair Asia team, thank you for giving me such a great opportunity to introduce ourselves today. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Amano from Asahiraba from Japan. I'm in charge of sales for medical products. Today, I'd like to present about my company and some products. Today's agenda. Introduction. Core technology of Asahiraba. Products. I picked up 3 products today. And conclusion. Who is Asahiraba? Asahiraba is B2B manufacturer of industrial rubber products. We base ourselves in Japan. Medical business is one of our main activities, representing nearly 1/3 of the business. Asahiraba is technology-oriented company, focusing niche markets that demand the highest grade components. Asahiraba has global operation mainly in USA and Asia. 3 sales offices in Japan, 2 in China, 1 in the USA. Although we have factories in Japan and China. When it comes to medical, all products are manufactured in Japan. Asahiraba's core technology. 3 core technologies are shown here. Surface modification, such as molecular bonding and coating. Denaturation are our strengths to produce first-rate products. Now, let me introduce products. The first one is super thin silicone sheet. This sheet is very thin, such as a 50 micrometer thick, produced with solvent-free material that provides reliability to medical or life science applications. One important news is that super hydrophilic silicone surface is available today. If you have an interest in it, we are very happy to talk with you at our booth. The second item is one-way check valves, named as AR check valve. They are high-quality valves for gravity infusion with small lot production, being produced in clean room with ISO class 7 or US class 10,000. They can be used in various fields, including healthcare setting. The third item is models made of soft material. Pictures show operation training models made of highly stretchable soft material. Visit our homepage to see the material that stretches to more than 10 times its original length. Conclusion. Asahiraba is an expert of materials soft components in Japan. We are here today to service you, new Asian customers, with our cutting-edge technologies. Thank you for your time today. Please visit our booth. You are highly welcome for commercial or technical discussions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amano. I'm very glad that you could give this quick talk about the products you have. I'm always, as always, it's very interesting to hear that coming from very traditional technology and rubber products, you do very high-tech products like optics or microfluidics or these thin foils. Very, very interesting. Are there any questions in the Q&A? There is no question. So as Kento Amano-san said, just go to the booth or to the MFA site and ask your questions directly, or let him show the products. And hopefully soon we can come and see you in real and touch and see the products in real, which gives is much more impressive than just on the screen, but that's what we have to do at the moment. So again, thank you very much that you joined, and we come to the next and last talk, which will be given by Mr. Iku Kudo from Cyberdyne. Also here we have some contacts already for some time, especially because Cyberdyne had a partner company or affiliate in Bochum in Germany, very close to Dortmund, where I live, and it's very interesting product, kind of robot-supported exoskeleton, which I've seen there. So anyway, I would like to see what you have new, and so the floor is yours for the talk to Fusion of Man, Machine and Information Science. Very interesting title. So the floor is yours, Mr. Kudo, and looking forward to talk to you. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Charles. Okay, a very good evening to everyone. I'm Narish. Can you guys see me?
We can't see you, but the presentation.
Okay, but it says that I can't start a video because the host has stopped it. Okay, now I can do it. Okay. Okay, a very good evening to everyone. I'm Narish. I'm the sales manager responsible for Asia Pacific and Middle East region.
Okay, sorry that I mentioned the wrong name.
Sorry, Dr. Thomas as well. Okay, I'm representing Mr. Kudo, as you can still reach him, or you can reach us through the AFA interface as well. Okay, without further ado, I would like to start on my presentation. I'd like to give you an overview about Cyberdyne Inc. It's a Japan-based robotics company, which is it's a Japan-based robotics company which is established in the year of 2004 by Professor Yoshiyuki Sankai, whom is also the Cybernetics and Research Director of Tsukuba University, Japan. Products invented are mostly used in medical, welfare, living support, including labor support. HAL is available in Japan, the United States, Germany, Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, and also Indonesia. HAL has also, the international patent relevant to HAL was accredited as notable invention by World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO. In 2012, we have already started our accreditation. In 2013, we have already established our center in Germany. In 2014, Public Workmen's Insurance have already covered robotics treatment in Germany. In 2015, the Japan government approved HAL as medical device. And 2017, we have obtained our US FDA approval. And 2018, February, we have set up our Brooks Cybernetics Treatment Center in the United States. And in 2018, we have established another center in Malaysia. It's under the Pekeso Rehabilitation Center. In 2019, we obtained Malaysian MDA approval. Okay, and in 2020, we also obtained MDA in Indonesia And in April 2020, we have also we also got accreditation from Thailand FDA approval. Okay. HAL is the world's first cyborg-type robot by which the bodily functions of the wearer can be improvised, supported, and enhanced. HAL is a fusion between man, machine, and information science. HAL is developed to assist patients with neurological and muscular disorders such as stroke and spinal cord injury. These patients whom are physically challenged will be able to walk, sit, and stand as a normal person back again. HAL is the only system that will be able to regenerate the brain, nerves, and musculoskeletal system. HAL is able to read those faint bioelectric signals sent by the brain through the nerves to the muscle group. HAL is able to capture the BES signals and assist to exert bigger motor energy as the wearer intends. Automatically, this will help to improvise and regenerate the functions of the brain, nerves, and musculoskeletal system. If here you can see our products are covered from medical, living support, and also labor support. Okay, this is our lower limb type. This is our lumbar type. And this is our single joint type, which you can see, which is used for your knee, your elbow, and also your ankle. And we also have our sign for communication tool, acoustic X for LED imaging system, transport robot, and also cleaning robot, which I will go through one by one. Let me give you a brief introduction about HAL and how it works. Let me play you a video for a better understanding for you guys.
Why was HAL developed? Our physical and cerebral nervous system functions steadily decline with age. I wanted to try to provide assistance with technology which could enable more people to lead healthy lives. Cybernetic treatment doesn't strengthen muscles. Instead, it improves connections within the nervous system.
When a person intends to move a limb, the brain sends signals through the spinal cord and the nerve cells to the muscles. Information of the limb's movement returns to the brain from the sensory signal during the motion. Such network loops of signals help maintain the brain's healthy condition. But sickness or injury can damage this network loop, resulting in difficulties moving. Even for a person with a disability, signals sent from the brain to the muscles leaks onto the skin surface as a very faint signal. We installed innovative sensors on HAL, which could read and analyze the signal so that the robot could be controlled voluntarily by the wearer's intention. What's important is the neural loop between the brain and the other parts of the body. Repeated exchange of the signals will reinforce the synaptic connections and drive relearning. Cybernetic treatment improves and regenerates the physical function of the patients who suffer from disease, such as neuromuscular disease.
We treated now about 100 patients with spinal cord injuries with the HAL robot suit system. And we see dramatic changes in their ability to move again. We see in some patients also some improvement of their pain. We see improvements of their sensory, which is very important to prevent pressure ulcers. And in some patients, we also see changes in their urinary function.
We see cybernetics as a technology we can live together with, assisting us like a friend. We live in an aging society. Japan sees this as a new industry, where we can provide solutions with new technologies. I believe that these innovations will greatly contribute to the world as we shift into the next society, Society 5.0.
Okay, let me share with you on how the principle or how it works, how HAL robot works. In this video, you'll be able to see that the robot syncs with the physical movement of this person. Okay. Secondly, the robot moves, but without any physical movement, but just by intention of his mind. And here I will share with you a case study which is done in Malaysia, PRBSB Center, where this patient, this is his first session for 10 meters walk test with a stand. After the 11th session, this patient was able to walk independently without a walking stick. And this is a patient who left basal ganglia, who was unable to walk after stroke. But after sessions, after 11 sessions, this patient is able to walk, able to stand, and able to conduct his training. And this is just after 2 months of session. I will also share with you on our single joint type of this patient on his first section that he couldn't flex his elbow. Only maximum he could do was 45 to 90 degrees and extension to up to 45 degrees. But after his sixth session, there's improvement on his flexion where he managed to get 5 to 120 degrees of flexion and elbow extension led to 5 degrees. And after 6 sessions, you'll be able to see how it has improved his condition. And then I will also show to you on our lumbar support to protect the back. お願いします。1、2、3。お願いします。1、2、3。はい、OK です。And we will also show you on the comparison before and after. So before training, it took him 15 seconds, and after training, it only took him 9.9 seconds. And this is the lumbar support, which I was saying, this is for care support, where you can assist patients to carry patients and everything, and to also protect their back. This is also can be used for labor support, where this is implemented in airport in Japan. And we also have in other fields such as construction, agriculture, and also logistics. Okay, this is our Acoustic X LED-based photoacoustic and ultrasound imaging system. We also have our cleaning robot, which is called the CLO2. It comes with sanitizer spray and UV light, which is able to detect bacteria via UV light and automated disinfection. And it's all automated. The cleaning robot route can be set easily. CLO2 is capable of cleaning without guidance and magnetic tapes or markers. The operator can select options for CLO2 to generate the cleaning route on its own, so you can do its own mapping. CLO2 is capable also for very fast autonomous navigation. One battery charge will make CLO2 clean a wide area. Okay, after, yeah, I'll show you also the video of how it works. Okay, this robot has been used in airports, office areas, as well. And this is another product called Sign. Sign is a product where you can use for patients who are in ICU, CCU, patients who are intubated, patients who can't communicate. So this machine will be able to do the communication. I will show you a video as well and how it works. So patients who can't communicate will be able to communicate, or maybe, for example, to call the nurse, or maybe it's time for him to have his meal. So he'll be able to communicate through this device. Okay, last not least, please contact us. If you have any inquiries, you may reach us to the AFA interface or email us, call me personally. We'll be able to answer all your questions and get in touch with you. Thank you so much, and I'm very sorry for exceeding the time limit.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas.
Thank you very much, Mr. Narish. It was very interesting again. It's fantastic what Hull, the results of the training with Hull is especially very impressive. That people can walk who couldn't walk before. And so there is a question from Alexandra again. She asked, can it be done at home, or it needs a healthcare professional assistance? Okay, for Hull, the lower limb type, yes, you need to be done. It needs to be done with a medical supervision, a clinician or a therapist. But for the lumbar type, it can be used at home. A single joint type soon as well, it can be used at home to train patients at home. Yes. Yeah. Please. Okay, for the Hull, for the lower limb, all users, that means even therapists or clinicians, must undergo a safety training and must be certified by Cyberdyne before handling the robots to ensure patient safety. Yes. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, as you said, time is over, so I cannot allow more questions, but probably there will be more. And I have to encourage everyone, when the Corona times allow it again, you should go to one of the places of Cyberdyne and try this robot. It's really fantastic what is possible with this. So thank you very much again, Mr. Narish, for this nice presentation. And sorry for this misunderstanding in the beginning. I was not aware that you will represent Cyberdyne. No worries, no worries. It's not an issue. Okay. I'm actually representing Mr. Kudo. Yes. Okay, I know that Mr. Kudo is also in the panel and could hear everything. So welcome to you too, and thank you again for the Cyberdyne presentation. So thank with this. Okay, thank you. With this, we come to the end of our seminar. I hope you have got a good insight in what is possible in the different areas of high tech in medical applications. I thank very much for all of you joining this meeting. Especially, I would also thank Alexandria for all these questions. So thank you very much for being here and asking and making this nice input. MFA is still 1.5 weeks online, so use this, go to the fair and talk to the people and make the best out of the situation. I think we still, in a virtual fair, we can make some new contacts and discuss about new products and start cooperations. We still have 2 or 3 minutes left, so I would like all the panelists to switch on their cameras for a last photo of everyone. Mr. Nares, can you stop the presentation? Yes, so please, everyone go into the, switch on your cameras on the panel so that we can make one last photo of everyone. And so that we can go to the social media and present every one of you. So still some are missing. I hope they can hear, so.
I think the host has not allowing me to share my video yet.
Okay, that's bad. So, anyone else who want to be on the photo? Yeah, there are more coming. Still some missing. So I'm asking our guys from IVAM to be ready for the photo. And so I'm not sure if more will, there and more come, very good. Kobayashi-san. So again, thank you everyone for joining. And so let's make thumb up for everyone. And cheese. Thank you very much and have a good day in Singapore, in the US, in Germany, in Austria, in Japan. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.